Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about a very exciting topic, which is how to declutter your mind. And so there are some proven scientific ways whereby anyone can declutter one's brain. Let's talk about it. Let's try to understand these tools and processes which can help us to declutter so that you can have a clarity of thought process. Okay, so let me just share the screen, then we will get uh, right into it. Okay, so decluttering your mind to have an absolute clarity of your thought process, your vision, what you want to do, you can get it done. So how can we do that? So let's talk about the processes, because most of us living the way we live, you know with so much of distractions around, so many things we have to do in a specific day at a specific point of time, um, and that that leads us to a state of mind where everything is cluttered. And so cluttering is based on the activities, what we have to do or what we are engaged in or our brain is engaged in. But also this cluttering also happens when we have a multiple thoughts coming to the mind and agitating our mind. And that is the reason why we are not able to decide, or we lose the clarity of our thoughts. Okay, so let's talk about the clutter, or how, what is clutter. Okay, now we have a physical cluttering and we have mental cluttering. Okay, so physical cluttering is, as you can see in this picture here, this is a real clutter. That means it's some messed up. Okay, so we must have seen at if you are at your home, in a kitchen or any wardrobe or a cupboard is cluttered, you don't like it, but you may see that's a lot of things are cluttered up. And if you have a thoughts in your you have a thought in your mind that, okay, I have to clear the clutter, but simply we just don't do it. Okay, so cluttering could be everywhere. So especially when your guest some of your guests are coming home, then what do you do then? So you just try to sort things out and just push things around and shove it under under the cupboard or under the sofa or under the carpet. So what you do is you try to clear the clutter because you are not comfortable with the clutter around. So what it does is, it also clutters the mind as well. The physical cluttering also clutters the mind. So that is about the physical. Then let's discuss about the mental cluttering. Okay, now mental cluttering is when you have so many thoughts, so many thoughts around, you don't have a clarity of what exactly you are going to do. And when your mind is so exhausted with so many thoughts, you feel tired as well. So that is called mental cluttering. So physical and mental, they are all has to be organized, and such a way that it's an absolute clear organized pattern in your physical life and your mental life. Okay, now physical cluttering, it's just a decision. Okay, how do you clear everything together? It's just a decision. But why don't you do it? It's physical cluttering. If you want to get things organized, first is you have to decide that, yes, I have to do it, because a lot of time we postpone things. Okay, I will do it. Okay, and it's not a lot, but almost all the time we don't do certain things because that is not a priority. It may not be the priority for you at that point of time, and you do not set yourself a date and time to do that. But the second thing of physical cluttering is when you wanted to clean it, but you do not know how. That means your mind hasn't, because everything before it happens physically, it happens in your mind. So your mind has never thought about it, may never thought it through, that how the decluttering will work out, or how the decluttering will will see, or how you, after decluttered, how will it going to look like. Then you will not take actions. So that means it has to happen mentally first before it happens physically. Okay, so that is where you have to, or the mind has to be clear on that. So that means you just, how do you do it? There's a mentally, just visualize yourself, just closing your eyes and visualize yourself, everything is decluttered, everything is clean and clear, and how does it look. Okay, and then you understand, okay, everything is clear means how does that look like. So now at this, at the same cupboard, okay, after it's decluttered, how does it look like? Okay, what are the things are there now, and how does it give you a feeling of. Okay, so you just have to realize and see the things into existence, okay, in your mental eyes, before you see physically it happens. Okay, so that is physical cluttering. That's a really a quick good one tool or a tip. Okay, the second thing is a mental cluttering. Okay, how do you clear your mental clutter? So mental clutter, to clear it, it is again, the process is not as straightforward as we discussed about the physical cluttering. It is straightforward, but the process is a bit different, I would say. Okay, so there are 3 steps process of decluttering your mind. First is you stop adding clutter and more. Okay, stop adding any more clutter into your brain, into your mind. Okay, so what does that mean? So that means when you are trying to clean up something, okay, so, to organize something, if somebody else just keeps coming and cluttering it, and putting garbage, more garbage, if you want to clean certain things, then that cleanup exercise will not work, as you all know. So that means you have to stop someone, okay, to add more garbage, okay, more trash, okay, into your space. Okay, exactly the same way when you are trying to that declutter your mind, it's very important that you stop adding, okay, this clutter, because it's nobody else but you, it's me, who allow the outside world to clutter our mind. Okay, you can't blame anyone else but ourselves. So then, so how do you so the first thing is to stop adding. So that means when you are starting your cleanup exercise, make sure that no one else is, or it's all the time it's you who is not adding more clutter. Second thing is identifying your clutters. Okay, identify, that means you must be thinking that, okay, I want to clear up my mind, I want to have a clear vision and a focus, and and I want to understand the clarity of thought process I need to have. But that is very generic. So you have to identify, then if you want to do have that, that is a process of breaking it down to identify the clutter. So the things what is stopping you to have that clear vision, the focus. Okay, and then the last thing is once you identify, then you organize and you start to declutter. So that means, in layman's term, you're identifying what exactly and where exactly needs to be cleaned, and then so you are stopping the surface to be to be trashed over again. So that means you are stopping anyone to put more trash on. And the second thing is, okay, identifying, okay, this is where exactly I want to clear up, this is where I want to make sure that it's all cleaned up. And after identifying that, then you just start the process of decluttering. So let's talk about stop adding clutter. What does that mean? So that means deliberately we ourselves, okay, with the social media, okay, and you have a phone in hand, you are very prone, okay, and you have more than 90% chance of just going and scrolling and browsing through your um, to your social media post or to your going through your mobile phone. Okay, so that is the fundamental source of a lot of clutter. Okay, before probably the social media came in, people were hooked onto newspaper or news articles. Okay, now with social media you just look at what other people are doing and what is this sport and dashboard. So your mind, what happens in this process is, see, the way our mind works, it's not a rocket science. The way it works is, when you are reading and looking at something, it creates, everything creates a mental pattern. It creates a thought in your mind. So that means when you are reading at an article, okay, which most of the time, as a matter of fact, if you are looking through the news article, they are all negatives. So when you are going through the negative article, then what happens here is you feel agitated, and your thought becomes negative as well. So you have to make sure that you stop adding clutter to your brain. You have to protect your brain. Okay, how do you do that? Is just staying away from and identify when you have the urge to check your mobile phone, and you don't identify that. Okay, acknowledge that, and you don't do it. Okay, you just train yourself and command yourself that I am not going to be controlled by this phone. Okay, and then you are stopping yourself, or you are now are not allowing, okay, or you're stopping outside world to influence and create a thought pattern in your brain. Because if you bombard your brain with so many things, whatever you are listening, reading, you are seeing, so these all get into our mind or brain, and it creates certain thought pattern. Okay, so that is how our brain works. So you have to identify these. Okay, so, and a very quick way of identifying these negative clutters, okay, is just looking at and realizing your feeling. So if you have a feeling of, let's say, you are stressful, you have a feeling of not feeling you are adequate, or lower self-image, or you feel like you are not capable of doing something. So these are all different kinds of thoughts. Okay, they all these thoughts have an origin. Okay, so you just, when you focus on the origin and you eliminate that limiting belief, okay, then you are all set to grow in your path. Okay, so stop adding clutter. That means do not deliberately go look for these articles, these apps, so that they gets you hooked onto them, and then it becomes very difficult for you to escape. Okay, so after you stop adding clutter, okay, then you identify your clutter. What does that mean? So that means you are now identifying, okay, what are the thoughts, okay, I have now. So that means if you want to have a clarity of thoughts, so you just have to observe your thoughts. And to observe your thoughts, that means indirectly you have to observe your feelings. Okay, so the thoughts are manifested with feelings, your emotions. Okay, if you are not feeling good, you are feeling fearful, you are feeling stressful, then what happened? These are all bad feelings. Okay, so you have to make sure that you identify your clutters by identifying these thought patterns, by identifying these feelings, and then once you identify, then you can correct it. So this is where the most important bit of our the tools, or the process is journaling this. Okay, so journaling or writing it down. When you are feeling depressed, you are feeling inadequate. Okay, so that is a feeling. Okay, and then you identify that feeling, and right away you go and write it down. Okay, writing it down is extremely important. So you are identifying your clutter by journaling it, by observing first and journaling it to find out, okay, every little small things. Okay, you just journal it. The thoughts, kind of thoughts coming, and kind of feelings what we are getting. So now you are journaling it. Okay, and then is the time to fix it. So how do you fix it? You fix it by, so these are the methods, guys. So you have to take a note of these these tools what you can use, or the methodologies you can use. Okay, now if you have a thought, let me give you an example of you are feeling a bit of your sense of fear is there. Okay, let's say that fear is coming from, because every fear has a reason. Okay, so that fear is coming from, let's say somebody treated you in a very different way which you did not like it. So if you'll have an interaction with that person again, probably you may have the same thoughts. So now when you are writing it down, okay, that okay, this is a thought is coming, this is the feeling which I'm getting. So then is the time for writing it down. Okay, what is the corrective thought you need to have? Okay, this is very important. That means when you identify, after you identify the problem, you just have to look for the solution. Okay, the corrective thoughts. Okay, let's take an example. You have a work colleague which is giving you a hard time, and you are not getting on well, and or you have a kind of one of your work colleague is always after you, or your boss is giving you a hard time, or whatever that is. Okay, now after that you write down what are the other feelings. Okay, you have a feeling that okay, my boss is doing this because this is what, because I am not good, or because I did certain things. So write it down. Why do you think the way you are thinking? You always will find an answer there. So once you identify okay the answer, then okay is the time to fix it. So one way is to organize and declutter is mindfulness, breathing. Okay, so you're mindful of your breathing, and you are breathing in and out slowly, in a specific pattern. Okay, so that also declutters. Okay, that's a very big tool, or a very important tool. Then working out or walking, physical activities, they do impact your brain. Okay, they endorphin, so they release a chemical called endorphin, okay, which is a feel good factor. Okay, makes you feel good. So always, if you want to declutter your mind, you want to get the absolute focus, very, very important that you spend some time with yourself. Okay, and that is where you are working out, you are going for a long walk. So that's what that plays in. Next thing is learn to say no. What does that mean? So that means if you want to organize yourself and get yourself decluttered, you have to learn how to say no to people, okay, who they may not be a part of your mission, okay, your dream. Okay, so they have other plans and other formulas, but you should be you should be selfish enough for your own dream. Okay, for not or you are selfish, you should be selfish for yourself, so that you say no to the people, and uh, the uh, the people sometimes may take you for granted. Okay, and they may take advantage of you as well. So when you say, you learn to say no. Okay, it may not be a good feeling, but it is always good, so that you know the limit. Okay, because all human beings, all of us have limited bandwidth. Okay, we have limited hours, limited capacity, because we all work in different capacity based on if you have a job, you have a family, you have career goals, you are parents to your kids, and you may be kids to your parents. You have different roles we play, and that is the reason why it's very important that very, very much important that you should see, or you should identify which are the requests what you are getting which are not in line with your desired ambition, or your what you want to accomplish, and then so say no to the those requests. And last but not the least is stop digital interruption. Okay, so when you start to declutter, you start to organize and declutter yourself, and you are getting into the process, you will see that there will be multiple interruptions. What do I mean by interruption? Interruption, to give you an example, that let's take for an example, you just sat down and you said, okay, I want to hammer it, I want to get the next half an hour, I want to get this thing done. And then guess what happens? Your phone, okay, a notification comes with a with a beep. What do you do then? You feel like just going and checking your email, or you feel like going and checking your Facebook feed, or Instagram post. So this is where these are called the digital interruptions. Okay, so these interruptions, which were, as the name suggests, okay, is interrupts you and stops you from from the journey of your journey to your destination, where what are the things you want to accomplish. Okay, so these digital interruption is one of the main, or one of the most important critical factor, okay, which you do not realize, then the time will just pass, and from one post and checking one feed to another feed, you won't realize that half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours has already passed. So it's very, very important that you take a note of these interruptions and understand it, so that you can control it. Okay, so that we are done, but I'm really excited about all these steps what we discussed today. It goes hand in hand with a stress level, and because when your mind is stressed, okay, it doesn't matter how much you want to focus, you may not be able to. So we'll discuss about, so this is a free ebook, you can download it, 5 quick ways to clear your mind of stress. Okay, so that will definitely help you. These are the 5 quick ways to identify what are these 5 things, what if you take care of, you get hold of, then you can uh, live a stress-free life. So that are 5 quick ways to clear your mind of stress, so you won't be any more stressful at all. So okay, so very, very important, these 5 steps. So just download it, it's completely free. Just download it following the link given below, and hope that you start taking those corrective actions and become more productive, lesser stress in life, and you have a clarity of vision and purpose in your life. Okay, so make sure you download this ebook, and with that we are done and over and out until the next video. Bye.